Hey there, I'm Julie, and this is the Married to Addiction podcast. If you're here, then you're probably what I call my secret sister. We're in a situation we never asked to be in and fighting a battle we never wanted to fight. We're women who are married to an alcoholic, and it affects every inch of our lives. If that sounds like you, then I want you to know that this is a safe place for you to land. Married to Addiction is a faith-based podcast where I'll help you find the tools and strength you need to navigate your husband's addiction without losing yourself in the process. So please subscribe and tune in as often as you're able, because your husband's recovery is important, but so is yours. Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Married to Addiction podcast. I'm Julie, and today we're going to be talking about how married to addiction is different. So I alluded to this in the first podcast and told you that I was going to tell you ways that I'm trying to do things a little bit differently because there were some things that I was looking for when I was walking through this that I didn't feel like I could find, or that it wasn't the combination of things that I was looking for, or what have you. So my whole purpose with Married to Addiction is to create something that is what I was looking for as the wife of an alcoholic. So today we're going to talk about how it's different than the other programs that are out there. Now, first thing I want to say is there are some great programs out there, and I'm not trying to minimize their impact or how effective they are or anything like that. You know, organizations like Al-Anon are tremendously valuable and effective, and I have benefited from them personally. But again, there was just a few things that I needed that I didn't feel like I was finding. So how is Married to Addiction different specifically? Well, the first thing is that it's from the viewpoint of the wife, just the wife. How does it impact the wife? It's from the experience of a wife. And I think that that's really important because the relationship that we have with our husband, the alcoholic, is different than any other relationship. And the insight that we have into him as a person and the connection is different. The dynamic is different. It's just it's just different than, you know, how it would be if it was your son that was an alcoholic, or your sister, or, you know, a parent, or whatever the case. It's just different when it's your husband. So I really wanted to bring something that was from the viewpoint of the wife specifically. The other thing is that I'm an introvert, and it was a really, really hard thing for me to get up the courage to go to an Al-Anon meeting or any sort of meeting. It's hard enough for me to just go to a party with people that I know. So me getting to a meeting with strangers in a social setting, and then throw on top of that I'm expected to talk about and open up about my most vulnerable, difficult, painful, secret, which it was at the time, parts of my life. That was a really hard sell for me. And I did get to the point where I would do it, but it was never comfortable. I knew that I needed to because I needed some support, but it just was exceedingly hard for me as an introvert and as somebody who does not thrive on social interaction. I was looking for something that was more private. I needed something that I could do on my own, you know, in my own home, on my own time. It's on my own schedule, etc. And I didn't really find that. And I think that there is so much value in being a part of a group of people and being around other people who are going through this, and being in a social situation where you can feel supported by people in person. There is value in that, absolutely. And I encourage you, you know, if that's not for you right now, maybe you're at the beginning of this journey and that's not for you right now. It wasn't for me, so I get it. But I do encourage you, as you learn a little more and as you start to feel a little stronger around this subject, that you do at some point give that a try, because there is absolute value in that. But the people who just aren't there yet, I felt like there wasn't really anything for them, and that was me. I just wasn't there yet. I just couldn't make myself do it for a really long time. And because of that, I didn't get the support that I needed, and I didn't get the help that I needed. And so I feel like that was something that was missing, and that is a big, big part of what I want to bring to you, is something that you can do in the privacy of your own home, on your schedule, wherever you need it, and you don't have to worry about, feeling exposed and feeling that vulnerability. So that was important to me. We talked about this a little bit where the podcast is concerned and, just in general, but my Married to Addiction is Christian based. So Al-Anon, again, is great, but Al-Anon and Alcoholics Anonymous are based around connecting with a quote unquote higher power. And that can look a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. But for me, it's a relationship with Christ because I'm a Christian. And so I really kind of longed for that particular perspective. How does my relationship with the Lord play into this? It was really strained for a long time through this, and I needed something to address that. The guilt I felt about that on top of everything else. Um, how can I utilize my relationship with the Lord during this process? Like all of those things, I specifically was longing for direction that was Christian-based direction, not necessarily just a more generic higher power-based direction. The next thing is that I felt a little after I started participating in different programs and learning some things, it was really helpful, but I felt a little dropped off after being kind of empowered with the tools. So they would say, "These are the things you need to do. Go do them." Well, it's very different being in a meeting and learning and hearing things and actually walking it out in your life and applying it to specific situations in your life. It's harder. It's way harder. You can write it down, you can take notes, you can think it sounds all great, but when you actually start trying to do it, it's way harder. But if you just learn it and you don't put it into action, then you don't gain the benefit from it. So what I wanted to do with Married to Addiction is I wanted to go beyond just telling you what you should do and actually help you do it. So that's why I've created my online program, my 30-day online program that helps you do that. Like it helps you walk through the different phases and the different steps, and it gives you activities that you can, put into practice to actually walk this out in your life. And again, that's where you start seeing the results. It's not just knowing it; it's actually doing it and implementing it and getting the encouragement when you don't feel like doing it in the heat of the moment. And how do you get past that? Things like that. So not just telling you what to do, but showing you how to do it and encouraging you to actually walk that out. So that is something else that I think sets Married to Addiction apart. Lastly, and I know this is the case for the other programs as well, because they're almost always run by people who have been there. But as a wife, talking to another wife, I just want you to know that I feel so deeply what you feel. I I can just, even though my husband has been sober for 4 years, I can just go back to that place in an instant in my mind because it impacted my life and my psyche so profoundly that I still know exactly how it feels. And I want you to know that I see you and I understand what you're going through and I love you and I'm here for you. And that was something that I really needed when I was walking through this, and the most difficult part of it, the darkest part of it, I just really felt unseen and unsupported and just lost. And so as a wife of an alcoholic to another wife of an alcoholic, I want you to know that I get it. I absolutely get it. And everything that I will be bringing you here is for you 100%. So that you don't have to feel like you're alone, so that you don't have to feel like you're unsupported, so that you don't have to feel like you're drowning and hopeless and all of those things. You will get through it. And I want to just help with whatever part of that I possibly can because I know how tough it is. So, again, thank you so, so much for being here. I will be back with the next episode. We're going to talk about how you know if your husband is an alcoholic, because that was something that I questioned for a while. Because when things first started to get bad, I was like, well, am I just kind of overreacting to this, or do we really have a problem here? So we're going to go into some more detail on that on the next episode. But again, thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Married to Addiction podcast today. I would love to give you a free gift to thank you for being here. It's my free ebook, and it's called 10 Powerful Prayers to Pray Over Your Husband and Your Marriage. All you have to do is head to my website, marriedtoaddiction.com, and look for the tab that says free ebook. You just enter your information and you will have instant access to the download. I hope it really helps you. I'm praying for you, and thank you so much again for being here. I'll talk to you soon.